All right, so welcome to our Smile Strong Wellness Information Night for basically what we do as coaches, as well as kind of hearing a little bit about our team, as we all have completely unique stories as to how we started coaching, even with our health and fitness journeys in general. So yeah, a little bit about my story. My name's Dana. And I got started about 4.5 years ago. And I have always been fairly active with sports and just going to the gym. And I had done CrossFit for about 3 years. And then once I had my first daughter, basically I was struggling to find a balance between working full time, making it to the gym, and then still having family time. So I actually quit doing everything for quite some time. And by that spring, I was feeling pretty crappy and I was down on myself and I just wasn't feeling that energy anymore. And I knew what physical activity did for even my mental state. So I happened to see that my childhood friend, was doing a boot camp the next month. And I randomly messaged her completely out of the blue. I don't know, it had been a long, long time since I'd actually spoken to her, but I did message her and I ended up getting signed up and I started my first challenge that spring. So it was May 2016. And my motivation was I wanted to be healthier in general. I had always worked out, but I had never been able to bring my nutrition into it. And I hadn't been even introduced to the whole mindset aspect. So once I started that first challenge, which I didn't even really know, I knew that I was starting a workout program, but I kind of thought I was just going to be doing it by myself at home. And then I got added into this group and everybody was supporting me, even though I knew nobody in there besides my coach. And within that first month, I was feeling this energy and I had stuck to the nutrition plan. It was balanced. It was just balanced eating and learning what foods would fuel my body. And then I got introduced to the personal development aspect. So learning to grow my mindset and overcome things that had held me back in the past. So within that first month, I was already feeling great. And I had thought about coaching a little bit, but I was super busy. And I was super busy, already struggling with time. Obviously, that's why I'm working out from home and working full time. And then Scarlett would go to school during the day, or to daycare during the day. And by the time I went and picked her up, we had about an hour and a half that we spent together. So I was only seeing her like that hour and a half in the entire day. So I was really struggling hard with that. And for me to, dive into a side business at the time, it scared me a little bit because, yeah, I was already struggling with time. I was also worried about what people would think, small town, and that was kind of holding me back. Like I thought I was kind of limited to my town, like to helping people just within my town. And then also, yeah, just putting myself out there, right? I wasn't really active on social media. And that alone made me super nervous. So, anyways, I did all the research. I like YouTube, everything. I actually got into a coach sneak peek and learned a little bit about it. And there was a coach from a small town in Saskatchewan that I really resonated with. And I was like, if she can do it, then I can do it. That's kind of what I thought to myself. And she had done it, right? So it's like I knew somebody that was had a very similar story to me. And I couldn't stop thinking about it. So I ended up just diving in. And I knew that there was so many other people that were feeling stuck like I had been. And I just wanted to pay that forward. And that's where I got started. And now it's been the last 4.5 years. And I just went full time coaching here this spring. I left my dental hygiene job and now I'm full-time coaching. So So yeah, that's kind of my story. And, within this call, we're all going to touch on our stories and how we all got started because we are just completely unique. Um, it's something that I gained from coaching that I didn't expect was definitely the community aspect. I totally thought that I was just going to be doing this on my own. And I just, before I got started, I was like, okay, well, there's the resources out there. I can make it happen. I can figure it out, right? And that's kind of what I thought to myself. And I would say I was kind of a lone wolf at the beginning because I was so nervous to reach out to people. But like now having this team community, we're just, yeah, we have our team chats. And when we get to go on trips, obviously right now that is all on hold. But when we do get to go on trips, it's just so much fun to actually come together and hang out. And yeah, it's just something that I didn't necessarily expect because I wasn't really a girl's girl in high school, and I always had a pretty small knit friend group. And yeah, it wasn't something I really thought about, but it's definitely become the highlight of coaching. So, and one other thing I wanted to touch on was what advice I'd give myself looking back now. I would likely tell myself to just believe, like just to go for it. I think I held myself back just by not going for it and not like being scared to do certain things. And if I could go back and tell myself that June of 2016, I would tell her to just go for it. And you know what? Keep showing up, keep being consistent, and you never know who you're going to inspire along the way. So, but yeah, I'm going to hand this off now to Coach Kara, and she's going to talk about her story and yeah, answer a few questions as well. So I'll just mute myself here, Kara.
Okay, hi guys. I'm Kara. I'm a full-time hygienist, and right now I'm enrolled in a holistic nutrition program as well. My story actually started, I joined Beachbody in March of 2018. However, I didn't commit. So I joined because Dana, I went to dental hygiene school with her, and I watched her journey, and she just was kicking ass with kids and everything and looking amazing. And then we had a mutual friend who came to me when I was living on the island in Victoria, BC. She came to visit, and she also had 2 children, but was looking amazing and happy and just something different about her. And I said, I want to do what you're doing. So she set me up with Beachbody. But like I said, I didn't give it a chance because I'm also an ex-fitness junkie. I was running 10K pretty much every day or 21K on the weekends. I was training for like Spartan Tough Mudders all year round, and I loved the intense CrossFit kind of stuff, but didn't look it. So when I joined in 2018, my intention was from a vanity point to look a certain way. But that didn't happen right off the bat. So then we made another, at that time, my husband and I made another move to Okanagan, BC, small town. And it was October 2018. And I said, I have to do this. I'm about to turn 34 and my account's gonna end. So I wanted to know if I wanted to renew my account. Therefore, I went all in with Lift 4, fell in love. So we were working an hour away, a commute. So we obviously had to do something at home, something short and sweet. And yeah, so Lift 4 was the best program. It was short and sweet. And we saw results in 8 weeks. So that's what sold me on it. I renewed my membership, but not as a coach. I was still just a regular BOD member. And then shortly after, my husband and I split up, and I kind of went down a dark path, and then, or not a dark path, but dark time. And then I ended up having a miscarriage shortly after he left me. So It was probably, yeah, it was a hard time for me. I had my 1 month of sleeping and not doing anything, I guess. But then I didn't want to go outside. I didn't want to go for walks because the neighbors knew me. I was kind of hiding. I was ashamed of everything and just miserable. And I remembered I have beach body, that I do need to get out of bed. I need to do something. And at that time, I think it was morning meltdown. I only had energy for 20 to 30 minutes. So I started pressing play. It got me out of bed. And I fell in love with the program all over again because Jericho was, the trainers are so encouraging, motivating. So I did that. I would creep on Dana's Instagram. I didn't have social media, but I would just search her on Google, and our accountability group, I'd go in there and look at all her motivational posts, and she had a list of things to read, podcasts to listen. And I just noticed that all these girls were, it wasn't just working out and eating right, it was also fueling your mind with positivity. And at that point I was craving positivity, so I started doing that. I reached out to Dana probably towards the end of summer, kind of talked to her about what was going on in life, and I just couldn't stop thinking about coaching because it was also, I felt like it was also a healing kind of, for me, when I was reaching out to different coaches and just talking about what I was going through and listening to their stories, and realized everybody had a story, but they overcame it and they were strong, like mindset as well and physically. So finally I reached out again to Dana in December and I said, I think I'm ready to do this. So I signed up as a coach, and it, like, the spark was there. It was an amazing opportunity for me. Everybody was noticing a difference in me. I signed up in December. I ended up being diamond in May. But it was because of what I was kind of putting out, I guess. It was just positivity. I looked good and I felt good. So I think for me, my biggest misconception why I hesitated for so long was, A, what are people going to think? I kept on hearing from people, because I hid under a rock essentially for a few months, went off leave at work as well. And then when I came out from my dark days, everybody said that I looked good and they said that I didn't look like I had gone through a separation and a miscarriage. And initially I thought that as an insult, but I realized I put in so much work. I was putting in the work and it was a compliment. So I hesitated because of that. I hesitated because I didn't want to be part of an MLM, but I realized I'm working out anyway. So if I can, make friends along the way and get a kickback, why not? And also I had no social media. I didn't have Instagram. I had deactivated Facebook probably for a year and a half prior to reactivating it. So I didn't know how I could do it, but I signed up on Instagram and started posting and slowly kind of gained a following. And then what I gained from this journey, what I've gained is confidence. Being from a small town, also further being Indo-Canadian, shame is still very huge with divorce or miscarriage. Nobody really talks about that stuff. So this has given me an opportunity to actually talk about it and heal myself and just let other people know it's okay if it happens, and you can get through this. So I've gotten my voice, I've gotten community, my life, I'm gonna say, literally, because I was having a hard time. If I could go back to myself in March, what I would tell myself is just trust the process, because I wasn't trusting 30 minutes. I thought you had to put an hour and a half in. But it would be trust the process, do the personal development. That's the part that I think is most important, because you're going to need it to get yourself to get up every morning and press play, or deal with things that happen in life and be able to still take care of yourself, pour into your cup. And that is it is mind, body, and soul, right? So it starts inside out. And the reason why all these coaches that I see that are able to work 2 jobs or a full-time job and full-time coaching is because they are working on their mindset, and they show up. Though by showing up, they're pressing play 5 to 6 days a week, and they're there for their coaches. So that's kind of what I would have done, is dived in right away with everything. So that's me. And I think the next one, Callan, I'll introduce Callan. So take it away.
I'm just gonna go in and cover just one thing here before we move into Callan's story. I'm just gonna talk a little bit about top qualities, I guess, for coaches, and especially within our team. I think we've all kind of worked together well, and I think it's because we do have similar drives and just a similar drive, I think. And so a few good qualities for coaches is, yeah, you're ready to dive into your health and wellness journey. Whether you're a conditioned, like whether you're already on that journey or whether you're brand new. I have had coaches completely start day one as a coach and starting day one of a program within their, they're just starting their, they're starting day one of their health and fitness journey. But you have to be ready to dive into that. And the one thing I find with coaching is that accountability is amped up as soon as you're a coach. It's like, okay, I need to show up for my people. I need to, I'm staying accountable through sharing it on my stories, through sharing it within our accountability groups. So yeah, just being prepared to dive into your journey and continue to grow, have that growth mindset, whether that's pushing yourself with your personal development. That's huge within our team. I know we're always talking about new books to read, new podcasts. I think that's a huge trait. Like it's been a huge part in all of us growing, I think, as coaches, and overcoming some of those fears that we all had. But it's been choosing to grow through that and dive into the personal development that will help us do that. And yeah, you're supportive, you're motivated to help other people. You're ready to share your journey, whether that's through talking to people, putting it up on social media. That is going to be your jam, and you get to choose where you want to do that, because there is so many different platforms that you can use. I guess who doesn't make a good coach? I know, like, basically with us, as soon as we sign somebody up as a coach or a challenger, we're committed to them. And for me, it's like, okay, like this is a long-term commitment for me to you, and we're going to be working through this program, but that program isn't the end point. Like, this is a lifestyle shift. So I think diving into that and genuinely wanting to help people, because if you don't, you will not last in the coaching world. Also, just with growing a business, you do need to have a little bit of grit, and it does take time. This isn't a quick, get rich quick scheme. It's not. You have to grow, and it takes time to grow any business, right? So if you think that you're going to get rich in 1 month, you will have to be putting in a lot of work in that 1 month if you think that, because it takes work and it takes obviously putting in that time. So everybody has different amounts of time that they can put into their business. So yeah, just knowing that it is definitely a crock pot business. So it takes time, and eventually all of a sudden it's like, boom, you have this amazing team and you are growing, right? But it takes those consistent actions and being essentially, yeah, being consistently showing up. So you do have to have a little bit of self-discipline too, because you are your own boss. and having, telling yourself, hey, I'm going to do this week. Those are my goals for the week. Those are my goals for the month. Those are my goals for the year. Um, just having that self discipline will go miles within this business because you'll keep yourself on track just by hitting your goals. But yeah, that was kind of my quick little topic I wanted to cover before we went into Callan, and we'll dive into Callan's story here.
Okay, so my name's Callan. I'm a full-time elementary school teacher, and I had first started with Beachbody when Dana reached out to me because she was running a 3-week yoga group. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll try this. Like, I was a newer teacher then, and I was feeling really stressed with working really long hours. Like, I would go to work at 7 and get home after 7 at night. And so I was like, I think I could fit this into my schedule. So I did that for 3 weeks, and I don't even think I showed up every day for 3 weeks. Like, I was the worst challenger to begin with. So then Dana was like, okay, well, do you want to continue? Like, there's so many programs to choose from. And I was like, I think this could be my jam. Like, I was so shy and I hated going to the gym, but I wanted, like, I didn't feel as good as I should. And I had so low energy. Like, I just needed something. So I was like, yeah, I think I'll give this a try. But like, I was still the worst challenger. Like, she would invite me to the groups every month. And I would start out like, okay, I'm gonna do 21 day fix, and like a week would go by and I was crushing it, and then week 2 would hit and I'd just stop showing up. So I did that for a while, and bless her, she kept inviting me to these groups because I would try a little bit, but I would end up falling off the wagon every time. So it came to I was going on a trip with my sister to Italy in the spring one year, and I was like, "Okay, when I get back, I'm really gonna focus on, like, trying to make more time for working out because I wanted to feel better still, and I just didn't feel great, so I went on this trip, but when I came home, I had, like, a full ear infection in both ears, so I was laid up in bed for, like, weeks, and I thought I would lose my hearing in one ear and then partially lose it in the other, and they told me I might not get it back. And I just remember for those 3 weeks that I was laying in bed, like, if I could just feel good again and feel healthy, then I wouldn't take it for granted like I felt like I had the last couple years. So I ended up gaining all of my hearing back, thank goodness. And after that, I was like, "Hey, I'm just gonna jump into a program." And instead of like a small, short, and sweet, I was like, "I'm gonna do 80 day obsession." Like, I hadn't even done 21 days in a row, but I was like, I think I could do 80. So I tried it, and I think it took me a little bit more than 80, but I did the full program and I was like, I really like this. And it like really worked for me in my schedule, and I started making more of a routine from it. So I was like, I'm going to do 80 days again. So I did it again, and I think it was around that time that Dana was like, Callan, you're ordering every month. Like, you're spending so much more money. You could sign up as a discount coach and get the discount every month on these supplements and the Shakeology that I was getting every month anyway. So I was like, okay, yeah, I should probably do that. I've been spending more money than I needed to. And so I did that. And I was like, I think I'm going to do 80 day again. Like, I just loved the whole program. And so I did it again. And this time I was like, I have done this program twice. I really want to like see better results, but I knew in order to do that, I had to pay more attention to my nutrition, but I had never really learned like how I should be fueling my body. So I ended up getting the Ultimate Portion Fix pack, and I really like dove into those lessons and paid attention to what I was fueling my body with. So I would make time every Sunday to meal prep, and finally I like stuck to my routine and made sure I was eating good foods for my body. And then when Dana was going to her new leader conference, she had asked me for like progress pictures, and I like had not really taken any. And so finally I like took some, and it wasn't until that point that I had realized like how much I had changed just even in the third time doing 80 day. Like I didn't even realize how much paying attention to my nutrition completely changed how I looked and how strong I felt until I saw those pictures. And it was kind of around that point that she had like mentioned, "Oh, hey, like, would you consider coaching?" And I had thought about it for a while. Like, I probably thought about it for like 6 months before I even did it. And like every Sunday, I would wake up and I would just creep all these coaches' Instagram stories and their income progressions. And I was like, I want their life. Like, they look like they love their life. I want that. So finally, I was like, okay, we are going to Cuba in the spring. And I did 80 day one more time before we went to Cuba. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go to Cuba, and like when I get home, then I'm gonna dive into coaching. So that's kind of what I did. And we got home like right before everything shut down. But I was like, okay, I said I was gonna do it. I should just give it a shot because I knew I would think like, what could I have done with it if I didn't do it? So yeah, I dove into it, and it was, like, really nerve-wracking at first because I was a really shy person, and I didn't do it for so long because I was so worried about what others would think of me or what they would say, and I definitely had some, especially, like, some family members that, like, weren't super supportive, which was definitely the hardest, but I realized, like, I've gained so much from doing it and sharing it with others, and if I could help change, like, someone else's life, like, I feel like it's changed mine, then that's, like, what I'm in it for anyways. So, yeah, it definitely is something that I wish I could have done earlier because I feel like I've gained so much from it. And I was just really nervous, I think, at first. I had gotten so good at this routine, and I had read a lot of personal development books, and I'd been listening to a lot of podcasts, but I was doing it for me. So I was worried like, would it feel kind of like a job if I had to like show up for other people? So I was worried that I would lose like a bit of that passion or excitement that I was feeling to wake up every morning and do it. But it's totally the opposite, like, seeing people that have chose to sign up with me and start on a program, like, seeing them finish a program and seeing them be excited about it is, like, just the best feeling ever. Because I know what that feels like for me, so seeing them feel that way just, like, makes me so excited. But, yeah, I feel like I've gained so much confidence just from like all aspects from like meeting new people and just seeing how much I've grown over the last even just year is like crazy to me. Like I feel like my life is completely different since joining this community and like all these things that I've learned. So I feel like yeah, I would just do it way sooner if I could go back in time.
Awesome. Thanks, Callan, for sharing. I've definitely seen like all of you guys grow, so it's so fun to hear you guys talk and like share your stories. I'm just sitting here like, you guys are awesome. um, so a little bit about Beachbody in general, if you don't know anything about Beachbody. I know we always think everybody knows what Beachbody is, but not everybody does. So what exactly is it? It started out like way back in the day, like P90X days, as yeah, DVDs. And what they found is that these online support groups, people were joining, like I guess it'd be like, what would you call it? Like not even a blog, but you know, those chat pages there used to be back in the day. And people were on there and they were helping each other work through it. And then they were kind of supporting the program, and they figured that, hey, like, why don't we create these support groups for people going through these programs? And that's where the coach aspect was born within Beachbody. And yeah, we have access to like our entire, like now obviously we generally don't use DVDs as much anymore, but I did start with DVDs, then transitioned into the Beachbody On Demand access, which is our streaming platform. And now that's where we can run our accountability groups. Our challengers can track their progress within there. We can upload meal plans in there. We can upload files. And yeah, you can basically go in. There's over 1,400 workouts within there. And then we have new programs that come out every 3 months. And then once you're in the platform, in your streaming, you can essentially go into that program and start pressing play on the workouts and working through. And we also have our nutrition programs, the mindset based one and the ultimate portion fix, which is more so macros kind of simplified with the containers. But they do dive into, like, within the actual lessons of these programs, you learn about food. So you actually dive into, you know, reading labels, how to shop in the grocery store, what your body needs at different times of the day and around a workout and all of that stuff. So that has been a huge component that's been added to our platform. And we now have meditations and a cooking show. There's so much on the streaming platform, and the challenge groups are the biggest thing that we use as coaches. That's where we run our boot camps, and every coach, you can kind of run your boot camps however you want. That's the great thing with groups, is you can be as creative as you want. You can run a 100-day group, you can run a 60-day group, you can run one every month. That's where your creativity can come into it. But within the team, we also have loads of resources for you to use. Like, it's not like you have to go in and create everything. There's just so many resources that you can use to get started within your first group. Within our trainings, we have, so we do have trainings that get you set up as a coach. We have our Kickstarter video trainings, which you work through those and you kind of like start applying things as you work through them. So definitely hands-on training, as well as our 10-day training, which will be starting on the 30th is our next start date for our full 10-day training. So definitely some great tools to get you started. And yeah, within Beachbody itself, there's just so many tools that you can use. And it's not like all of our challengers are 100% only using Beachbody. Loads still go to the gym, they still go to classes. You know, I still have a punch pass, like I still go to classes. The great thing is, for me, I know it's created convenience, and especially having the twins the past 18 months, there was no way that I could even barely leave the house. So it's really just brought that convenience. And also when I am traveling with curling or whatever, I always have something that I can easily press play on. But yeah, that's kind of Beachbody in a nutshell, and it is constantly evolving. It's actually insane when you hear our CEO talk about his plans for upcoming programs, upcoming additions to the Beachbody app, like where our platform is. It's just exciting. He's insane, and everything like that has kind of come full force now with the new nutrition programs, the meditations, and all of that. It's been, it's kind of been their jam, and they've just brought it to life and just given us coaches so many resources and tools to use for our challengers. As a coach too, you don't necessarily have to be, you know, a personal trainer or a nutritionist. Basically, you are being a motivator. Within the challenge groups, the programs are already all set out. We aren't giving direct counseling, and we're not creating programs. Obviously, some coaches have that background and they can utilize that and bring it all together. But that's one misconception I know that I've heard, is that they don't know how they'd help people through a program. But the biggest thing is you're doing it with them and you're helping them. You're showing up alongside of them. You're helping them push forward every single day and essentially stay committed to their journey. You're being their accountability partner. So that's the biggest aspect. And loads of coaches do end up getting, their personal training down the road, or I know Kara's taking her nutrition course right now. But yeah, like to start, I know I didn't have my courses at that point. So yeah, it's something I know that is brought up quite regularly. And it is something that I like to share because you aren't creating the programs, right? So we have the tools at our fingertips, the resources there for us to use for our challengers. So we are going to move into Diana's story. And Diana is a CrossFit coach. She's from, I'll let her introduce herself more. But yeah, we met via Instagram.
Yeah. So Dana and I have actually never met in person yet. I've been following Dana for quite some time on Instagram, and we've messaged each other back and forth. And, everything that she puts on her feed, I'm like, yeah, I'm totally about this. Like I'm a coach. I agree with what you're saying. I've been CrossFitting for over 12 years now, and I own a gym for about that same amount of time. And then COVID happened and I had to close my gym down, and I completely freaked out. And Dana and I had been messaging back and forth, and she had asked me at one point if I'd ever be interested in Beachbody, and kind of going into misconceptions. And I was just like, I don't know. I support you, but I just don't know if the workouts are going to be hard enough for me to do. I'm used to, using barbells and heavy weights and all of these kinds of things. And then I was like, you know what? I'm a coach. Like, how am I even thinking these things? It's ridiculous, So I was like, I will try the workouts. And I'll kind of I just need to see what it's about. And I started with 80-day obsession, and oh my God, it was amazing. I mean, it's probably, and then obviously I've done MBF and MBFA, and the workouts they're amazing. I get a really good workout. And for me, the best part is because I am a coach, no one's coaching me. So it's nice to just turn the TV on and have someone telling me what to do. It's usually not the case, so that's been really, really nice. So yeah, Dana and I pretty much just met through Instagram, and after I did Beachbody, we'd spoken a little bit more, and my main concern beyond the workouts was, well, what's the nutrition advice that you guys are giving? Because we've changed a lot of people's lives, and I just want to make sure that I can support what's being put out there, because there are so many things on Instagram, with quick fixes and just things that are not going to be sustainable. And that's a huge mission of mine. If I'm going to help someone, I want to make sure that I can help change their lives for the better. And it's a lifestyle change, not just a 10-minute fix where, they're potentially doing more harm than anything. So I looked into the nutrition, and it was 100% something that I could support. It's exactly what we coach and what we teach. My husband is a certified nutritionist. So, all of these things just kind of lined up, and the timing was very, very good because I had to close my gym. And so at that point, I still needed to coach people and help them, but I had so much more going on that I couldn't create the content. I didn't have the time to all of a sudden, do what Autumn does, and just create all of these videos. So I was able to put some of my members onto Beachbody, and their concerns at the beginning were very similar to mine, which was, are the workouts going to be hard enough? And I'm like, listen, I've already tried the workouts. I'm telling you that you're going to love them. And it's something that I wouldn't tell you or even, you know, ask you to try if it wasn't something that I know would be beneficial to you. So far I'm loving them. I still have a lot of work to do with my social media. Like Helen, I am very shy when it comes to social media. But I am working on it, and it's good to be with a group of females, actually, like Dana said, that are super supportive. I've never really felt that before. You know, girls are not usually always very supportive. So I've never felt, you know, like anything other than support from everyone, especially Dana. So it's been really nice. The misconception was definitely that I didn't think the workouts would be hard enough at one point, and I was very mistaken. I'm very happy with the workouts that I do. I still follow my own programming. In addition to that, I do my Beachbody workouts every single day. And when I don't do them, I'm like, oh, I haven't done it. So another thing that I felt has been really beneficial to me with Beachbody was that because they work on like isolated body parts, you know, when I'm CrossFitting, I do functional movements. So I'm using a barbell to do a lot of the work, but Beachbody does work a lot with isolated body parts. So I've been able to gain a lot of strength and to fix a lot of imbalances that I knew that I had. So that's been very, very beneficial. And that was something that I didn't think that I would gain from the program, but I'm very happy to say that I have. And then lastly, I would say that if I give myself advice, I would say that, you know, sometimes that misconception is really just more fear of what other people are going to think you're doing. For me, it was, well, you own a gym. How could you also be a Beachbody coach? Like, what are people going to say? What are people going to think? And the reality for me, what helped me get out of my own way with those really thoughts in my own mind was just, you know, my intentions are good and my intentions are to help people live a healthier, happier lifestyle. So the avenue, as long as I can support that avenue, it really doesn't matter where it comes from. And then what advice I would give myself right now is to get over myself with social media and work a little bit harder on that. And that's my story.
Awesome. Thanks so much for sharing. I definitely had very similar feelings about the programs when I started, and then I almost passed out the first day.
Yeah,
I was like, okay, I was wrong. Because yeah, I'd been CrossFitting for like over 3 years, and I was like, these are not going to be hard enough for me. Yes, I almost passed out that first day. I actually had to like stop my workout.
I really
Um,
enjoy that.
yeah. A few things. I'm just going to touch on a few perks as a coach. I'll touch on these super quick. Obviously, Callan kind of talked about having a discount, so we do get discounts on all of the products, and then you also earn commissions. So as a coach, if you're working the business, then you're going to earn commissions as well as basically there's actually 8 different ways to earn. And lots of that comes from your own work within your own business and helping people get started with their journeys, with continued customers, as well as, you know, new coaches, and then generating a team from there. There's different ways that you can earn within the compensation plan, and it's all based on helping people get started with their journeys and continuing on with it. And there are yearly trips that Beachbody has, as well as we have our annual summit, which is always someplace new. Next year it's in St. Louis, and hopefully everything works out and we can all be there, because it is just, the energy is insane. So hopefully things go as planned for us this next year. But obviously this past summer with COVID, we had to cancel it in New Orleans. And then within the Smile Strong team, within our crew, this is going to be our first year that we're doing a diamond retreat. So that's going to happen in the spring, and that's going to be for all of the diamond leaders at the end of the year, and we'll all go and celebrate and come together in April. So that's something new that this team has started doing this year, and I'm super excited to have that and bring it forward every single year going forward. One thing that people don't think of is actually the tax write-off. I know for me, I never really thought of that, even truthfully, not even like when I was actively coaching that first year until I hit tax season. Because I'm not one to like deal with my taxes till tax season. And yeah, basically any of the fitness related stuff we can use towards our business, as well as any household expenses. And so basically anything that I would have already been purchasing, like my supplements, weights for my home gym, my new laptop for work, like stuff like that can all be used as an expense. And it really does help, like especially when you're first building your business, is yeah, it's stuff that you're already going to be, you know, kind of purchasing at, especially if you are working out from home. It's stuff that, yeah, you're already going to be purchasing. And I know even my workout gear, that's my office gear, right? So yeah, there's many perks to that aspect. We also have incentives within the company itself, like there's prizes for helping people every month, and yeah, just all sorts of, we always have usually some incentives just within the team too. So yeah, lots of perks within coaching itself. And obviously the biggest thing is at the end of the day, when you get a message and somebody's thanking you for helping them stay committed and change their lives, and you almost start crying when you read that message. That for me is what it's all about, and those messages never get old. In fact, I screenshot them every single time, and they're all in my screenshots, because that for me is what coaching is about, is helping people stay committed to their journey and make that lifestyle shift. So yeah, that's always one of the top perks as a coach, is getting those messages and seeing those people that didn't believe in themselves start believing in themselves. And I know I've seen that even within my coaches, and seeing that belief grow, and that's just exciting to see that transformation. So we're going to move into Sam's story, and Sam and I actually, Beachbody brought us together because you actually generate free customers through Beachbody, and Sam was one of them. So I'll let you hear her story here.
Hi, I'm Sam. As Dana said, I'm kind of the diamond in the rough. I had no idea who Dana was. I saw a friend working out online and was curious what she was doing. I'd always been active doing sports. When I graduated, I had a gym membership. I had a nutritionist. I was spending hundreds of dollars at the gym every month. And after I got married, it just wasn't very sustainable. So I stopped doing that, and I stopped going to the gym because I didn't want to hurt myself. I didn't want to get off balance by doing certain workouts that I looked up on my own. And so seen my friend working out and asked her what she was doing, and she told me. And so I signed up, and I remember sitting at my desk the next day at work, and I got a text message from this person. I didn't know who she was, but she was my assigned coach, and she was going to help me pick out a program and narrow down what I wanted. And I was like, wow, this is like amazing. And it was like less than a month membership for a full year. So that just already had me blown away. And then getting in the accountability groups, and just like meeting all these different people and gaining a Canadian accent because I am in the States. So I definitely feel like I'm I'm learning lots of words. um, so yeah, that was just my start, and that was almost 3 years ago. And so I just started with the programs, and when 80 Day Obsession came out, I just fell in love. I lost 25 pounds. I was already doing personal development, and so I decided I was buying the supplements. I used to use stuff that my old nutritionist recommended just because he's a nutritionist, so I trusted him. But looking at the supplements, they're natural, and they're not that expensive for like using them every day. Like it just made sense, and I trusted where they were coming from, and they had a lot better ingredients than the stuff that my nutritionist was recommending. So I actually slowly started switching over my supplements, and now I never miss a day. In fact, I pretty much live on Energize all day these days. Um, so I would definitely not change that. And so then with 80 Day Obsession, I just became more passionate and wanted to help other people. And so I decided to start saving on my supplements, and then I slowly started to share my journey. And I'm the kind of person, I don't really socialize with people. And so I really have a hard time telling people my business. Like, literally, if you don't see me in person, you're not going to know things like, oh, I was pregnant, or, like, I just didn't talk about that kind of stuff. Um, so that's definitely something that I'm working with on my comfort level with social media. Everyone's different, but I'm definitely finding people that I relate to on not sharing certain things on social media. And I don't feel like it's holding me back on my business at all. I feel like I'm definitely the one that's holding my business back on just my belief. My misconception for sure would have been that I couldn't be a coach because I'm not skinny and fit. And I think a lot of people are fit and healthy, like they look fit and healthy, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they actually are. Just because they're skinny doesn't mean they're eating the right way. And like, I feel like I'm pretty healthy even though I'm overweight, but I feel like I can help a lot of people too, because I'm going to be right in there with them every single day, doing my workouts, doing my meditations, and able to cheer them on. And I definitely don't feel like you have to be at your goal weight to be a good coach, because you just need to inspire people and care about them. And that's who I am. So I think that I'm kind of a perfect coach, and kind of to a fault, because I care too much. I wish I could just go out and help people and run with them or work out with them directly, but we can't do that right now. Um, and like, you can't force people to want to do anything, but like, just being there, cheerleading, and knowing that they can do it, and hopefully eventually they'll believe that they can do it too. Things that I gained, like confidence. And I think the biggest thing, especially with 80 Day Obsession, I learned how to listen to my body and to trust my instincts, and not only just like follow the plan, but like, okay, I'm extra tired today. I'm gonna take it easy, do an easier workout, just do yoga instead of just plowing through like I would have done. I'm also older, so maybe that's the case where I can't just plow through things anymore. Um, but definitely just listening to my body, what I need, knowing that I need water, and being able to help other people with those things that I've learned the hard way, and then having other people in the community who may have experienced something that I haven't. And I think that that's amazing, just because you can bounce ideas off of people and be like, am I crazy? Like, am I the only one that has this problem? Um, and we don't even just have like our team as a resource. We have, like, with all of our groups, we have Facebook communities also, and Instagram communities, where you can just jump in, and it's all people who are doing this program or nutrition plan, and what they're eating, what they're struggling with, what they're kicking butt with, and it's it's such a great community that I would have never expected. I didn't know anything about this. I just thought it was a fitness program online, and that I was just going to work out. So definitely the community was just a huge bonus. and advice is that it doesn't have to be perfect. Just doing the motions sometimes and getting that accountability and just getting the routine in. Sometimes that'll win the long battles just because you always wake up at a certain time. So it's not even a question anymore that you're going to wake up. You just kind of keep doing it, and that kind of wins the battle. So, yeah, those are my stories.
Awesome. Thanks, Sam. 80 Days seems to be a popular program, you guys. It is a lot. It is actually a program I think that got myself committed like into my morning routine. That's the program that got me into my morning routine. Yeah, that was the shift, was that program, because I couldn't fit in an hour workout anywhere else in my day. And yeah, so I'm just going to cover a bit about what we do as coaches. Obviously, you can integrate this into your life in many different ways, and your routine will be completely unique to you. But I'll give you a breakdown of what I do working full time, and then Alyssa is going to go into how she works it in with working full time. So yeah, for me, basically what I do in the mornings is I get up and I show up within my own journey. I like to start my day by working on that, and that includes, yeah, my morning routine, so I can serve from a full cup and getting in my workout. And I like getting that workout in early, because it's usually kid-free. These days, but there's been days that they're definitely are up, and I manage around that. But I also like to get that up within my challenge groups and within my social media, keeping myself accountable to my challengers, but also by showing up on my social media and maybe inspiring somebody even within there to get moving that day, just by seeing that I showed up super early. And so, yeah, that's how I start my day, is by working on my own journey. And then I start to share it. So that is a part of our job, is sharing our journey, giving value, maybe things you've learned along the way, little tips that you've learned. Yeah, maybe, like, I know for me, setting my alarm on the other side of the room or in the other room gets me out of bed, and it's little tips, like little tweaks within my routine that has actually helped me stick with my routine, right? So just sharing things like that within your stories and within your posts. And I do like to put up a post usually every day. Sometimes I'll take one day off in the week, but yeah, I like to share kind of a multitude of family, coaching, health and fitness. And yeah, that's kind of what I usually share about, is a mixture of not just health and fitness, but of me, because essentially as a coach, that's what your business is. You're the CEO. You're the person that people are going to be resonating with and coming to, and yeah, showing up with, right? So I think sharing what is, yeah, actually going on within your life and what stage of life you're in, for me, that's what I like to share. That took time to feel comfortable with that, and definitely through my pregnancy with the twins and the struggles with that, I definitely grew a lot through sharing that, because there was days where I just didn't want to talk to anybody, but my coach community and, yeah, just sharing my journey, so many friendships were created and I didn't feel like I was alone. So actually for me, it ended up being very much therapy, and I had this community of moms that had actually gone through even similar surgery as me, and similar, just as very, like, yeah, just very similar situations, right? So I actually found, once I started sharing that aspect of my life, and what I was going through at the time, yeah, it it helped me break through that barrier of sharing, you know, stuff that's going on within our lives. So from there, depending if the babies are at home or not, but yeah, I get my post up. If the babies aren't at home and they're at daycare, then I am sitting down and I'm connecting with people who have supported me. So this is going to be people who have supported my posts and my stories, and people that have supported me in the past that I have tracked, and yeah, I have their names written down. And so from there, I'm connecting, and it's a lot of conversations. I love just chatting with people, I will send voice notes. I'll send just quick message thanking them for supporting me. Um, Sometimes I'll send them an invite and see if they want to join my next boot camp. Maybe I want to invite them to this coach call, right? So just different conversations are had usually throughout my morning. And then I dive into my challenge groups, and I am actually preparing them for the next day. So within our app, you can schedule your posts. You could schedule your whole month and you would be set, but I haven't done that yet. So right now I'm actually scheduling them the night before, or yeah, I usually get them scheduled the night before and have them ready and have that content up. And then I go in and sometimes I'll do a live video in our group. Sometimes I'm just going through and commenting on everybody's workout logs and basically just giving them a high five, like, hey, I see that you showed up. And I am, just giving them a high five, right? And telling them that, that was a tough one today and you crushed it. From there, some days I have training calls and I'll hop on a call. We have so many resources through corporate and our Canadian page, but as well as our entire Beachbody pages where there's trainings. So I usually incorporate that into my afternoon, and I like to watch at least one of those every day. Now that I'm coaching full time, right? I have the time to do that, so I make it part of my day. From there, once the family's home, it's family time, and I usually do one last check-in in my challenge group before I go to bed, and just any workout logs that I didn't get a chance to comment on, or they had an evening workout. Although most of my crew are morning workout people, there's a few that'll squeeze in an evening workout, and I go in and I comment on there. But yeah, that's kind of the breakdown of what my day looks like. A lot of it is, you're connecting with new people, you're inviting new people, and then you're supporting the people that you have. And I know this past Monday, Mondays are my check-in days, and I messaged absolutely everybody that's within my groups and literally just chatted with them pretty much all morning and some into the afternoon. And that's my plan now that I have the twins in daycare, is doing that on Mondays, and that's my check-in day. And it was really great to just, I like personally checking in with people every week and seeing that. So hearing from them, is there anything I can help them with? One girl I ended up getting back on track, and she's crushed 2 morning workouts now, and she's never crushed a morning workout. So I've been texting her at 7 a.m. and she's been showing up. So she just needed that message from me, and she didn't know where to restart. And so we made a few tweaks to which program she is doing. We ended up shortening. She's ended up doing a 20-minute workout now instead of a 30 to 40-minute. And I was like, let's just get you into a good routine. And then from there, you can move up to that 30-minute mark. But this 20-minute program is going to get your routine going. And that's what we need to focus on right now. So it's just lots of connecting. And then obviously connecting with the team. We're always chatting within the day, and we have team calls every 2 weeks and team trainings every week within our bigger team. And that's kind of how my everyday looks now. And I'll let Alyssa take it away for a look into how most people's coaching day will look, because I know when I started, I was working full time too. So take it away.
Hey guys. Yeah, I will just go right into my day-to-day. So it's changed over the course of the 2 years that I have been coaching. Mainly because I've taken it a lot more serious this past year. It's no longer like the side hobby business. It's more so like, this is my dream job that is going to potentially get me out of debt forever and ever. That's like my long-term goal. Whether that happens in 2 years or it happens in 10 years, we'll see. But so basically, I work full-time as a dental assistant. My hours are from 8. I start at 8 and I work till 3:30. Now, I used to work 8 to 4, but now I have to get home for the kids. So I've had to adjust my work schedule a little bit. I work straight through, 8 to 3:30, no lunch break. Lucky if I get to pee. So when I am at work, I barely do any work, coaching work. So I wake up early. My day starts at about 4:30. And that, give or take, I try to go to bed no later than 10. If I go to bed later than 10, I am a zombie the next day, and nothing, not even Energize would fix me. So I've just learned 10 o'clock is my bedtime. If I go to bed any later than that, I give myself some grace and sleep in a little bit. I just know that I won't get a lot of my business stuff that I need to do for coaching done that morning. So then I'll have to make up for it at night, which is family time. So I just try to keep myself on track during the week. So 4:30, the alarm clock goes off. I sometimes struggle to get out of bed, but my goal is to have my workout started by 5. This is lately, like this week, I've tweaked it even. So workout is starting at 5, and so that I am done by like 5:30 and my energy levels are up. So then usually I go into my challenge group and I log my workout, stay accountable to everybody that is counting on me, because it's going to show them that I am showing up, and if I can show up, so can they, kind of thing. So I do that, and then I actually go into, I've been doing a lot of this, and it's just a tip, maybe you guys will take away from it. I've been using IG Line Break. It is a website online. So I go onto my computer and I will actually go into my memories from like 2 years ago. I'll see what kind of post I did 2 years ago as inspiration that I've said. And I actually like copy it and I tweak it and I do that as a post that day usually. Or I treat my posts each day as my journal. So it's like what I'm struggling with or what I'm thinking about, or if I have an idea that popped into my head, then I try to make a post about it. So my posts, I try to keep them influential, valuable, and not just strictly on Beachbody, because those people are annoying. And nobody likes somebody who just pukes their MLM all over you. I personally don't, so that's not what I do. I try to keep my posts very I'm just a very blunt person, so I just try to keep it straight up. This is how it is, but I keep it nice. I am a nice person, but I am a blunt person. So, and I swear a lot, so usually there's an F-bomb or two in there once in a while. But I've been scheduling my posts, like I have it, and then I'll go into, this goes into Instagram analytics and all that's insights and stuff. I'll try to figure out what day, what time to post it at. And if I have time that day, I try to post it at that time, but not a lot of time at work that I have time to post it at that certain time. So I just kind of fit it in when it works. I usually try to have a photo ready and the post ready before I even head out the door, whether that's just saved in my notes or you can pre-plan it in Instagram and then post it from there. So I have that done. Then a lot of the time I do my personal development in the morning, but also lately I have been doing just like listening to a podcast on the way to town, because I'm driving and it's just mindless and it's just good words in my ears. So I do that. And then invites and connections. I try to do in pockets of time. And I don't have a lot of pockets of time, to be honest, because now that Elena is in school every single day, I have to make lunch at night. I have to do her home reading every single night. We are learning how to read, and it is something else. So we don't have a lot of time. And so once the kids are in bed, I usually try to spend about half an hour doing some invites and connections, which are what's gonna move my business forward. That's mainly what I concentrate on. I also have about 20 minutes to half an hour where I'm waiting for the bus, give or take. Sometimes it's 15 minutes by the time I'm out of work, but if I'm done work at 3:30, I'm usually out of the door just after 3:30, and I'm home. The bus gets there at 4. So I have a little bit of time in there that I can answer my inboxes from, like, even just the night before, because I haven't had the chance to yet. And yeah, basically it's busy, it's organized chaos, but I use my time wisely, and that's kind of how I move my business forward, especially since going back to work since COVID. It was a struggle at first, I will be honest, trying to find that routine, and it just felt like the world was coming at me, and I just couldn't stop it. And it was a lot, and it was super overwhelming, but I just kind of gave myself some grace, and I knew that with time I'd figure it out and I'd find a routine and my jam again. It's just when your routine changes, it kind of just screws up your mind a little bit. So it took some time, and like I said, I tweak it to like my life. It's always changing, but what's important is me getting the stuff that I need to get done to move my business forward. And the checklist is life, so that thing keeps you on track. And if you have this list to work off of, then you don't really have an excuse. You just kind of go through that. You don't even have to check it off, but like now in my mind, I know what I need to do every day because I've done it so much that I don't actually go check it off a lot of the time anymore. But yeah, that's pretty much my day-to-day life. And like the fluff of Instagram, I try to get my as many stories up as I can, my posts, but in all reality, I try to connect and talk to people the most, and inviting. Usually if I'm connecting enough, invites just kind of happen. So it's just kind of, it just happens. But quickly into my story, I started Beachbody about 4 years ago. So just after when Dana started, she had asked me to join a challenge group. And it took me a couple months because I was just postpartum with my son. And I went through hell and back with my daughter. And then I had Wyatt. And I do this every time. I gained a lot of weight, and I just wasn't happy with myself. I was very uncomfortable. My life changed like crazy amounts. I knew I could fit in 20 minutes in the day. So Dana told me to get 22-minute hardcore. It was 22 minutes, and I figured I could probably fit it in at nap time. So we did the old style DVDs, and we hucked that DVD in every single day for, I don't even remember how long that program was. I think it was either 6 or 8 weeks. Anyways, I finished it, and I want to say that I lost a lot of weight, but I didn't. I lost a few pounds. Obviously, my body changed because I was doing stuff every single day. My diet was still like shit. I ate whatever the heck I wanted when I wanted because I was at home and I was on mat leave and there was no accountability to what I was eating. So I just ate whenever. And I felt good. It was how I felt that made the change. I also dove hard into the challenge group because it was just like that sense of accountability. I tracked my workout. I felt like if I didn't track it, then where did I go kind of thing. Like people would be like, where did Alyssa go? So I felt more accountable to like my journey all in all. And it was just kind of a ripple effect after that point. I seen Dana talking about this crazy personal development, like who needs this personal development? And I thought, okay, well, I'll give this voodoo stuff a chance. Like I thought it was just for people who were like so mentally unstable, but at that point I kind of was. So I read books, and the one that stuck out to me and changed me a lot was Girl Wash Your Face. And yeah, that was a big one for me. And it changed my like thinking towards books. Also, I hate reading. So for me to read books is like a big thing. So I dove more into personal development. So I was like a discount coach for like a year and a half. Dana had invited me to coaching. She sent me the whole email with all the info. And of course I looked at it, but I somewhat laughed at it because I couldn't do it in my mind. I just wasn't mentally there to coach anybody. So I started up with a different MLM, and I started selling shampoo and Monate. I still use it. It's awesome. You should buy it and use it. I love it. But after that, I felt like I was selling stuff with Monate, and I just didn't feel good about it, and it didn't excite me. And I just remember seeing Dana and I don't remember where you were for Summit, but she was at this big conference that happens every year that we talked about. And I was like hardcore FOMO, and I just wanted to be there no matter what. So I finally thought, okay, let's give this coaching thing a try. So like almost 2 years in, I decided to give the coaching thing a try. And of course I was shy. I wasn't too sure of myself. I didn't know what the heck I was doing, and I obviously was scared of what people were going to think of me with like the whole misconceptions thing. People aren't nice. People judge you, and just having that you're already not really sure of yourself to begin with, and then to put yourself out there even more is just a huge step outside. But I was like, you know what, this is just going to help me regardless, and I'm going to be doing this for the rest of my life, so why would I not want to share this with the people I interact with each day? So I decided to coach, and yeah, one thing I gained from everything is confidence. My life, I don't even know what my life was before, to be honest. Like exactly what Kara said, she gained her life. Like you think back to where I started, and it's like I had a near-death experience with my daughter. So like you kind of lose yourself with everything. So gaining yourself again is just unreal. Also having the support from countless people is just amazing. I've met some really awesome women over social media. So like having those friends that you can count on and rely on, and like when you struggle, you can message them, and you know that they're not going to judge you because they're going through similar stuff. So I can't even read. What would I tell myself going back? To have the confidence in yourself, and to just, if you can't stop thinking about it, it's meant to be. I thought about it for 2 years. So if you've thought about it more than once, you need to do it, because you at least need to try it. Because quite honestly, the sign up for owning your own business through Beachbody is very minimal. Like, it's free when you sign up with the pack. So there's no investment. You're not going to lose anything, and you're going to gain everything. So yeah, that's my story. Tears and all.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks for sharing, Alyssa. I think we like really covered like so many fears that we even had as coaches. And yeah, like I know I've seen you guys all grow and evolve, and it's truly like that growth mindset, like always choosing to grow, you know, setting goals. And I think we're all always working on something. And even like I'm 4.5 years in, and every single month setting goals and trying to figure out what I want to work on and grow. Um, but yeah, so I covered loads of common fears, common misconceptions, and I hope you got a good feel for our team. This is a small portion of us, but it gives you a good feel of, yeah, of our vibe. And yeah, we truly do come together. And that's one thing that I like with our team is there's always somebody there to help you. Like Alyssa said, getting started, if you've purchased a challenge pack in the past, then it's free to sign up. If you're completely new to Beachbody, then essentially getting your streaming access and your supplements of choice, nutrition, it's all in like a little bundle. It actually waives your fee, which is, if you did the fee on its own, it's $49 Canadian or $39 US. But yeah, if you're totally new to Beachbody, I usually recommend, you know, getting into that streaming so you can familiarize yourself with what you're going to be helping people with, diving into those nutrition programs and learning them yourself. And because you're going to be the one that they're going to ask, hey, which program do you think I should get started with? And that's okay if you don't know that off the hop. That's what our team chats for. And that question goes into our chat quite often, like, okay, we need something that's this long and their goals are this, like, what should I recommend? And we all have different recommendations. So you don't need to know everything to start. That's a big thing. Like, you're going to be constantly learning and growing. And if you're ready for that and you're ready to help people, then definitely consider getting into our new coach training. And then you'll be starting with other coaches at the same time, and you'll be able to start working with other coaches even at the same point within your business. So yeah, that's that. We have our coach training, like I said, it starts on the 30th. If you're listening to this after the 30th, then we have one every single month. So yeah, you stay in touch with your coach, and they will let you know when the next one is starting. And if you don't want to wait until that point, then they can send you the resources and you can get started working through it on your own. Yeah, awesome. I am going to stop recording here. And yeah, if you are still thinking about this in a week, 2 weeks, a month, then that's a good sign that coaching might be for you. Okay, good night, guys.